There are certain things a man never expects to face. Finding out his good and loyal wife has betrayed him, that is one of them. It all started on a Thursday. Just another ordinary day, the kind that comes and goes without a second thought. I worked a long shift, drove home like I always did, parked in the same spot in the driveway. The porch light flickered, one of those little things I kept meaning to fix but never got around to. Inside, the usual evening chaos. The kids were arguing over the television remote. The smell of something cooking filled the house, and my wife, Lisa, was in the kitchen, humming softly as she stirred a pot. Everything seemed normal. I tossed my keys onto the counter and checked my phone. A few unread emails, some automated messages from the bank, and then one text from an unfamiliar number. Miss you already. I cannot stop thinking about last night. I frowned. Wrong number, maybe. I almost ignored it, but something about it made me pause. A feeling, maybe, or instinct. I typed back a quick response. Who is this? The reply came almost immediately, like whoever was on the other end had been waiting. Are you messing with me? You were just inside me last night. I stared at the screen, the words taking longer than they should have to register. The house was still buzzing around me, the kids laughing, the sound of a spoon scraping the pot, Lisa's quiet humming. But suddenly, none of it felt real. Everything blurred, everything except those words on my phone. Inside me last night. My throat went dry. First thought, a joke, some kind of scam. But something about the tone, casual, certain, made it feel too real. Like this person was not guessing, was not taking a chance. Like they knew, like they thought they were talking to me. My pulse kicked up. I glanced at Lisa, who had not noticed me yet. She was still focused on dinner, her hair pulled up in a messy bun, the way she always wore it when she cooked. It all looked the same as every other night, but did not feel the same. I typed again, slower this time. Who do you think you're talking to? 3 little dots appeared almost instantly. Stop joking, baby. Do not make me say your name over text. Just delete these like you always do. I cannot believe we almost got caught. A wave of cold washed over me. We always do. My fingers tightened around the phone. My mind kept circling those last few words. Almost got caught. This was not a wrong number. This was not a scam. Someone out there was texting me, convinced that we had been together the night before. Someone who expected me to delete the messages. Someone who assumed I had a reason to hide them. Someone who had done this before. I swallowed hard. I turned back toward Lisa, really looking at her this time. The woman I trusted. The woman I built a life with. The woman I had never, not once, had a reason to doubt. Until now, 1,000 thoughts collided at once. It cannot be her. Cannot be Lisa. Maybe a mistake? Maybe someone at work messing with me? Some stupid prank? But I was not an idiot. I knew. Somewhere deep in my gut, I already knew. I scrolled back to the number. It was not saved in my contacts, but that did not mean anything. I copied it, pasted it into my dialer. No name, no identity, but I had a terrible feeling I would not need to guess for long. Lisa finally turned, noticing me. She smiled. Smiled. Hey, babe. You okay? I stared at her. My wife. My faithful, loyal, loving wife. Loyal. Faithful. Right? I forced my face to stay neutral. Yeah, I muttered. Just tired. She nodded and turned back to the stove, completely unaware that, in the time it took for a single text message to arrive, my entire world had shifted beneath my feet. Unaware that in the next few days, I was going to tear everything apart. At dinner, I sat at the table, chewing through a meal I could not taste. The kids were talking, laughing about something silly, a joke from school, some nonsense about a video game. Lisa sat across from me, playing the part of the perfect mother, the perfect wife, smiling like everything was fine. I kept my phone face down on my lap, my thumb hovering over the screen. My mind was spinning, but I forced myself to keep my expression neutral. Every time I looked at her, the words from that message flashed in my head. Miss you already. I cannot stop thinking about last night. Are you messing with me? You were just inside me last night. Delete these like you always do. I clenched my jaw. Always. This was not a mistake. Someone was sleeping with my wife, and I had a feeling I was about to find out exactly who. I was careful. I did not want her to see me checking my phone, did not want her to suspect anything. But as soon as dinner was over, As soon as I helped clear the plates and listened to Lisa tell the kids to finish their homework, I slipped away. I needed space. I needed answers. The search begins. I sat in my truck, parked in my own driveway, trying to get my head straight. The air felt thick, heavy, like the moment before a storm. I pulled up the number from the text and copied it. Then I did what any man in my position would do. I ran a search. Nothing. No name, no business, no public records. Just a blank space where information should have been. Frustration burned through me. I thought about texting back, demanding a name, demanding the truth. But I already knew the truth, did I not? The real question was not if she was cheating. It was who she was cheating with. My mind ran through the possibilities. It had to be someone close. Someone she saw often enough that she thought she could get away with it. And then a name popped into my head. It was so obvious that I almost laughed. Mr. Carson, the teacher. He was not just some random teacher at the school. He was our kid's teacher. The one Lisa always talked about, always had a reason to text. Mr. Taylor says Jake is struggling with math. Mr. Taylor recommended this reading program for Ava. The man she swore was just so wonderful with kids. I never liked him. Too smooth. Too damn friendly. And now all those little moments started adding up. The way Lisa always found an excuse to go to the school. The way she would dress just a little nicer on parent-teacher conference nights. I should have seen it. I should have known. Testing a theory. I copied the number from the text message and started a new conversation. Hey, babe. I cannot stop thinking about last night either. When can I see you again? If it was Taylor, he would answer. If it was someone else, I would figure it out soon enough. I barely had to wait. Tomorrow after school? Usual place. I let out a slow breath, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Usual place. Not a one-time thing. Not some careless mistake. This had been going on for a while. I had been a fool. I wanted to punch something, smash my phone, drive over to that school, and rip that bastard out of his classroom. But I had to be smart. I could not storm him blind. Could not give them a chance to cover their tracks. No, I was going to watch. I was going to see it with my own eyes. And then I was going to end it. Back to the house. By the time I stepped back inside, Lisa was curled up on the couch, scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. Like she was not sneaking off after school hours to meet our kid's teacher behind my back. She looked up and smiled. Smiled. Hey, you okay? She asked, her voice soft, concerned. I nodded, forcing my lips into something that might have passed for a smile. Just tired, I said. The same words I had used earlier. The same lie I had been telling myself for years. She patted the spot next to her. Come sit with me. I stared at her. At the woman I thought I knew. The woman I trusted with my home, my kids, my life. I wanted to grab her by the shoulders and shake the truth out of her. I wanted to see the guilt in her eyes, to hear her beg, to watch her squirm. But no, that would have been too easy. Instead, I sat beside her, wrapped an arm around her shoulders, and kissed the top of her head like nothing had changed. She sighed, relaxing into me, and I smiled to myself. Because she had no idea what was coming. A sleepless night. I did not sleep that night. Lisa was curled up beside me, breathing steady, her body warm against mine. I lay there stiff as a corpse, staring at the ceiling, my mind running in circles. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that message again. Miss you already. I cannot stop thinking about last night. Are you messing with me? You were just inside me last night. Delete these like you always do. I cannot believe we almost got caught. I wanted to shake her awake, shove the phone in her face, and watch her try to lie her way out of it. But that was not enough. I needed proof. I needed to see it. Somewhere in the night, I must have dozed off because I woke to the sound of my alarm. Lisa was already up, moving around the bedroom, getting dressed. Morning, she said casually. I watched her pull on jeans and a sweater, her hair still damp from the shower. Normal. She looked normal. It made me sick. I forced myself to sit up. Got plans today? She glanced at me, smiling. Just running some errands. Maybe grabbing lunch with Sarah. Sarah, the same friend she always used as an excuse. I wondered if Sarah even existed, or if she was just a name Lisa threw out whenever she needed a cover story. I nodded, pretending to believe her, playing the part of the oblivious husband. She leaned down, kissed my cheek. Love you. I stared at her, at those soft lips, at those bright eyes. at the woman I had built a life with for over a decade. Love you too, I lied, watching and waiting. I worked from home that day, or at least that is what Lisa thought. I told her I had a big project and needed to be left alone. She kissed me goodbye and walked out like everything was fine. I waited exactly 5 minutes before grabbing my keys and heading out. I was not stupid. I knew where she was going. I parked 2 streets over from the school and waited. The school day had already started, so I did not have to worry about parents dropping off kids. It was just me, sitting in my truck, gripping the steering wheel, waiting for something I already knew was coming. And then, right on time, I saw her car. Lisa pulled into the lot, parking near the side entrance. The door opened, and there she was, my wife, my cheating wife, stepping out of the car, smoothing her sweater, looking around like she did not want to be seen. She was careful. She always was, but not careful enough. Because I was watching. I expected her to walk through the front entrance like any normal parent dropping off forgotten homework or scheduling a meeting. But she did not. She went around the side of the building, to a different door, one that was not meant for parents, one that led straight to the staff wing. I felt my pulse hammering in my skull. A minute passed, then 2. Then, he came out, Mr. Taylor. Tall, confident, dressed in that same button-up and slacks he always wore. He scanned the area, just like she had, making sure no one was watching. Then, with a small motion, he beckoned her inside, and she followed. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white, my fingers twitching with the urge to rip it apart. Not just a mistake. I do not know how long I sat there, staring at that door. Could have been 5 minutes. Could have been an hour. Time blurred together, swallowed by the rage boiling inside me. I should have stormed in. I should have kicked that door off its hinges, grabbed that smug bastard by the collar, and slammed his head against his desk until he forgot his own name. But I did not, because I wanted this to go further. I wanted them to feel safe. I wanted them to believe they were getting away with it. I wanted to destroy them when it would hurt the most. So I waited. And when she finally walked out, her sweater slightly wrinkled, her hair just a little out of place, I watched her get in her car and drive home like nothing had happened. Like she had not just been screwing our kid's teacher in his office. I gave her a head start. Then I followed. By the time I pulled into the driveway, she was already inside, back in her perfect little world, pretending she was still the loving, faithful wife. I stepped on my truck, my hands shaking. Not from sadness. Not from pain. From hatred. The excuse. When I walked inside, Lisa was in the kitchen, pouring herself a cup of coffee. She turned and smiled. Smiled. "You hungry?" she asked. I was thinking of making lunch. I stared at her. She looked so normal. It was almost impressive how she could pretend. How she could come home and make lunch like she was not a lying, cheating woman. I leaned against the counter, crossing my arms. "How was lunch with Sarah?" Her fingers hesitated around the coffee cup, just for a second. Just a fraction of a second. Most people would not have noticed. But I did. Then, just as quickly, she smiled again. "Oh, it was nice. Just caught up for a bit." I nodded, my fingernails digging into my arms. "Yeah? Where did you go?" She hesitated. Hesitated. That little cafe on Fifth," she said quickly. "The one with the good pastries." A lie. I knew it was a lie. I had been watching her. But I did not call her out. Not yet. Instead, I let her talk. Let her dig herself deeper. She went on about how good the coffee was, how Sarah told her a funny story, how she might stop by the store later. She had no idea I had watched her step into another man's office. She had no idea I had seen everything. And she sure as hell did not know what was coming next. So I smiled. Let her think she was winning. Let her think she was safe. Because soon, very, very soon, her world was going to shatter. The setup. I played along for the rest of the day, nodding at the right moments, pretending I cared about whatever nonsense she was saying. Lisa was relaxed, comfortable. She had no idea her secret was already unraveling. But I was not going to expose her yet. I wanted more. I wanted to know everything. How long it had been going on, how many times how she justified it in her head. Because cheaters always have excuses. And I was not just going to hear a reason. I was going to make her say it. That night, after she went to bed, I sat in the living room, scrolling through my phone. The messages were still there, mocking me. Tomorrow after school? Usual place. I had not responded yet. which meant Taylor was waiting, probably checking his phone, wondering why his little side piece was not confirming their next meeting. So I gave him what he wanted. Yeah, I cannot wait. I did not know what I was expecting, but I did not have to wait long. My phone buzzed again. You sure everything is okay? You were acting weird yesterday. Weird? I smirked. Yeah, I bet I was acting real weird when I responded to his love note instead of my wife. But I needed him to stay comfortable. I needed both of them to think I was still in the dark. So I played the part. Just busy. But I have been thinking about you nonstop. The reply came instantly. MMM. I love when you say that. Tomorrow, after school, same time. I clenched my jaw so tight my teeth ached. Yeah, same time. And just like that, I had everything I needed. The trap. The next morning, Lisa kissed me goodbye like she always did. Told me she was running errands. Told me she might meet up with Sarah again. Told me the same bullshit she had been telling me for months. I told her to have fun. Then I followed her. She did not even try to hide it. Same route. Same school parking lot. Same side entrance where parents were not supposed to go. I parked down the street and waited. 15 minutes passed. Then 20. Then, right on time, Taylor walked out. Looked around. Checked his phone. And there she was. Lisa stepped out of the building and into his arms. Right there. In broad daylight. In the open. Like she was not even afraid of getting caught. Like she thought I would never suspect her. I watched her tilt her head up, smile at him. Let him brush a strand of hair from her face. I watched him lean in, whisper something in her ear, something that made her giggle like a damn teenager sneaking around after curfew. That was it. That was all I needed. That was it. That was the moment something inside me broke. I was not just going to confront them. I was going to destroy them. The first strike. I waited until she got home. Acted like everything was normal. Asked about her day. Listened to her lies. Let her dig herself deeper into the pit she did not even know she was standing in. Then, after dinner, once the kids were settled in their rooms, I sat down across from her at the table, and I dropped the first bomb. I got a strange message yesterday, I said casually. Lisa looked up, chewing the last bite of her dinner. I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. The screen was still lit, displaying his text. Tomorrow after school? Usual place. I watch her face closely. The way the color drained from her cheeks. The way her throat bobbed as she swallowed. The way her fingers tightened around her fork, like she was calculating her next move. I did not say a word. I wanted her to speak first. I wanted to hear the lie. She swallowed again, forcing a confused frown onto her face. I do not know what this is, she said carefully. Did someone send this to you by mistake? Lie. A pathetic, desperate lie. I leaned back in my chair, folding my arms. Really? Because I thought it was interesting. I mean, they're expecting to meet someone after school. Sounds like a teacher, does it not? She blinked. I mean, yeah, I guess. But, funny thing, I interrupted, tilting my head. I happened to drive past the school today. Saw something interesting. Her breath hitched. Bingo. I leaned forward, resting my arms on the table. I saw you, Lisa. My voice was eerily calm. Too calm. I saw you walk into that school. I saw you meet him outside. I saw you let him touch you. She froze. No more fake confusion. No more pretending. Now it was just panic. Babe, she started, her voice shaky, her eyes darting everywhere like she was searching for an escape. It is not what you think. Who is he? I demanded. She hesitated, just for a second. Then, it was a mistake, she blurted out. I was drunk. I do not even remember how it happened. It was one time, I swear. Drunk. I laughed. Loud. Bitter. Sharp. Drunk? In the middle of the damn school day. I scoffed, shaking my head. Try again. Her lip quivered, her hands gripping the edge of the table, so tight her knuckles turned white. It was not like that. Shut up. I slammed my palm down on the table. She flinched. You think I am an idiot? You think I did not see you with him today? You are not drunk, Lisa. You were smiling. Tears welled in her eyes. I swear, I do not want to hear your excuses, I growled. I do not want to hear anything from you. She opened her mouth, probably to beg, but I was already standing, already walking away. This was not over. Not by a long shot. Because I was not just going to expose her. I was going to ruin her. The aftermath. I left her sitting at the table, her face pale, her lips trembling, her mind scrambling for whatever excuse she thought might get her out of this. She did not follow me. She knew better. I walked out onto the porch, gripping the railing so hard I felt the wood bite into my palms. The night air was cool, but did not do a damn thing to calm the fire burning inside me. She thought she could lie her way out of this. Drunk? In the middle of the day? At a damn school? She really thought I was that stupid. The rage boiled over, fast and ugly, but I forced myself to take slow, even breaths. Not because I wanted to calm down. No, I wanted to feel this anger. I wanted to let it fuel me, but because I was not done yet. Not by a long shot. I was not just going to end this marriage. I was going to make her regret every second she spent with that bastard. The final blow. I did not go back inside for a while. I let her sit there. Let her think about what was coming next. When I finally stepped back in, she was still at the table, hunched over, gripping her head like she was trying to keep it from splitting open. She looked up at me, her eyes wide, red-rimmed. She started, but I cut her off with a glare. Pack a bag, I said flatly. Her breath hitched. What? I walked over to the counter, grabbed my keys, and did not look at her as I repeated myself. Pack a bag. She scrambled to her feet. Wait, just wait a second. Let's talk about this, please. I turned on her so fast, she actually took a step back. Talk, I scoffed. You had plenty of time to talk. Plenty of time to come clean. But instead, you came home, made dinner, and kissed me like nothing was wrong. Like you were not out there screwing our kid's damn teacher. Her eyes welled up. Do not. I snapped. Do not stand there and cry like you were the victim in this. You did this. You. She shook her head, tears spilling over. I never meant for it to happen. Save it. My voice was cold, sharp, final. I do not give a damn what you meant to do. You did it. Over and over again. You chose him. Now, you can live with the consequences. Her whole body trembled. I have nowhere to go, she whispered. Not my problem. She opened her mouth, then closed it. She knew I was not bluffing. She nodded, just once, then turned and walked upstairs. I listened to her pack, listened to the sound of drawers opening, the rustle of clothes being shoved into a suitcase. I should have felt something. Guilt, sadness, regret. But all I felt was satisfaction. She thought this was over. She had no idea what was coming next. She thought the worst part was me kicking her out. She had no idea what was coming next. Once she was gone, dragging her suitcase out to God knows where, I sat down at the kitchen table and pulled out my phone. It was time for Taylor to feel this too. I typed out a message. Hey babe, change of plans. Meet me at your place instead. I waited. Sure enough, a minute later, my phone buzzed. You sure? Thought you liked our usual spot. My grip tightened. I just want somewhere private. No interruptions. God, I love when you're like this. You know where to find me. Can't wait. I grinned. Oh, I would find him all right. And when I did, he would wish he had never met my wife. The house was silent. Not the comfortable kind of silence, the kind where the kids were asleep and everything felt warm and right. No, this was the heavy kind, the kind that settled in the bones. The kind that came after something broke when you were left standing in the ruins, wondering how the hell you never saw it coming. Lisa was gone. I did not know where, and I did not care. She took her bag, her phone, and whatever dignity she had left and walked out the door. I did not stop her. I did not yell after her. She was not mine anymore. Hell, maybe she never was. But I was not done yet, because while she was probably crying in some cheap motel or begging one of her friends to let her crash, he was sitting somewhere comfortable, probably thinking about the next time he would see her. That was not going to happen. Not after tonight. I checked the time. 9:13 p.m. Not too late. Early enough that Taylor would not be asleep, but late enough that he would be expecting one thing and getting another. I grabbed my truck keys, checked my phone again. God, I love when you're like this. You know where to find me. Can't wait. I smirked. I wondered if he would still love it when he opened his door and saw me standing there instead of my wife. I pulled up his address. I did not even have to search for it. I knew exactly where he lived. It was disgusting, really. This man, this piece of garbage, had been in my home. He had smiled at me, shaken my hand at school events, handed me graded assignments for my own kids while screwing my wife behind my back. And all this time, He probably thought I was some idiot. Some blind, naive husband who never saw the signs. I saw them now, and I was going to make sure he felt every damn one of them. I started the truck and pulled out of the driveway, my hands tied on the wheel. By the time I hit his street, I had one goal: to make him suffer. Taylor lived in one of those cookie-cutter houses, the kind that all looked the same, with the same neat little lawns and the same boring driveways. I parked down the street, took a deep breath, and stepped out. Every step toward his door felt heavy, electric, like a live wire buzzing under my skin. I knocked, waited. It took a few seconds, but then footsteps. Then the door opened, and there he was, Mr. Taylor. The bastard had the nerve to smile, like he was expecting something good, like he was expecting her. His smile faltered when he saw me. His eyebrows pulled together, and for the first time, I saw it, the flicker of realization. The moment his brain caught up. He hesitated. Mr. Mitchell. I tilted my head, my lips curling into something that was not quite a smile. Not who you were hoping for. I asked, my voice calm. Too calm. He took a step back. I think you have the wrong house. I let out a breath. No, I do not think I do. His Adam's apple bobbed. Is everything okay? Oh, this motherf. I took another step forward, forcing him back into his own damn house. Yeah, I said, still too calm. Everything is great. In fact, I just wanted to stop by and say thank you. His eyes darted toward the street. He was nervous. Good. For what? He asked. I let out a short laugh, stepping inside and shutting the door behind me. For giving me a reason to finally see my wife for what she really is. Silence. His face drained of color. Bullshit, he blurted. I do not. I held on my phone. His messages. Our conversation. The proof. I watched him deflate. Watched his whole world shift, just like mine had when I got that first text. And then, before he could say another damn word, I did what I came here to do. My fist met his jaw so hard I felt the crack shoot up my arm. Taylor stumbled back, gasping, clutching his face. I did not stop. Did not give him time to think, to react, to beg. I grabbed him by the collar, slammed him against the wall, so hard a picture frame crashed to the floor. You really thought you would get away with it? I growled, my voice shaking. You really thought I would never find out? He stammered, hands up in surrender, eyes wild with panic. I did not mean. I hit him again. A punch straight to the gut this time, knocking the wind out of him. He doubled over, coughing, but I was not done. You screwed my wife? I snarled, shoving him back against the wall. In the same school where my kids go. Do you have any idea how sick that is? He gasped for breath. Please. I grabbed him by the shirt and dragged him forward, shoving him toward the front door. You are done. I spat. You hear me? Done. If I so much as see you near my family again, I swear to God, Taylor, I will make sure you regret every single choice you have made up until this moment. He nodded frantically, eyes pleading. Say it, I demanded. I am done, he choked out. I swear. I stared him down for another long second. Let him feel it. Let him sit with the reality of the hell he had walked into. Then I let go. He slumped against the wall, clutching his ribs, sucking in air. I turned, walked to the door, and pulled it open. Before stepping out, I glanced over my shoulder. By the way, I said, she is all yours now. Then I slammed the door behind me. I drove home, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles went white. The rage had not faded. The hate had not disappeared. But there was satisfaction now. I did not care where Lisa was. I did not care what she would tell Taylor after this. I had made my point, and this was just the beginning. Because I was not just going to move on. I was not just going to let her walk away clean. No, I was going to make sure she lost everything. I did not go home right away. I parked a few blocks away, killed the engine, and just sat there. My knuckles throbbed from where I had cracked them against Taylor's face, but the pain barely registered. My heart was still hammering, my blood still boiling, my mind still running through everything that had happened. Every moment of deception, every second I had been played for a fool. I thought hitting him would be enough. I thought watching him cower, watching him realize he had messed with the wrong man, would bring me peace. But I still wanted more. Lisa might have thought she got off easy by packing her bags and walking away. She might have thought all she had to do was cry, throw out a few weak apologies, and disappear until I cooled down. She was wrong, because I was not just going to let her go. I was going to ruin her. I picked up my phone, scrolling through my contacts until I found Sarah's number. Sarah, Lisa's best friend. The one she always used as an excuse. The one she claimed to be having lunch with while she was off screwing Taylor. I hit call. It rang 3 times before she picked up. Hey, oh my God, I was just about to. Lisa cheated on me. Silence. A stunned pause. Then what? She was screwing our kid's teacher, I said flatly. For months. Lied to my face about it. And guess what? She told me she was having lunch with you the whole time. So, tell me, Sarah, did you cover for her? Or was she lying to you too? A shaky breath on the other end. Oh my God, I had no idea. I let that sit for a moment. I was not done. She is going to need a place to stay, I said, my voice icy. Maybe she already called you. Maybe she's already feeding you some sob story about how I am a monster, how it was all a mistake. But now you know the truth. More silence. Then, she did not call me. I smiled to myself. Good. That meant Lisa was alone. I did not give Sarah a chance to say anything else. I hung up and went back to my contacts. Next up, her parents. I was not the kind of guy to drag other people into my problems. But this was not just a problem. This was justice. Lisa's parents had always liked me. They thought I was a good man, a good husband, a good father. And for years, I had been. They needed to know who their daughter really was. I dialed. Her mom answered. Hey, sweetheart, she chirped. How is my favorite son-in-law? I let that hang in the air for a second. Lisa cheated on me. The smile in her voice vanished. What? She has been sleeping with another man for months. Lying to me. Lying to our kids. And I thought you should know because I do not want her walking into your house, pretending to be some victim when she is the one who destroyed this family. A sharp inhale. Oh my God. I gave her a second to process. Then, where is she now? Do not know. Do not care, I said. But she will come crawling to you eventually. Just remember, she did this to herself. Another heavy silence. Then, in a voice colder than I expected, she will not be welcome here. I nodded, satisfied. Good. And with that, I hung up. By the time I got home, my phone had started buzzing. Lisa. I ignored the first call. And the second. Finally, I checked the text messages. Please pick up. I need to talk to you. I swear I never wanted to hurt you. I messed up, but please do not do this. Did you tell my parents? They just called me. They will not even let me come home. They said I discussed them. What did you say to them? Please answer me. I stared at the messages for a long time. Then I typed out one final response. You made your bed. Now lie in it. And then I blocked her number. That was it. No screaming matches. No drawn-out fights. No second chances. I erased her. I changed the locks. I took her name off the bank accounts. I made sure she had nothing left to come back to. She lost me. She lost her family. She lost everything. And the best part? She did it to herself. I was not sad. I was not heartbroken. I was free. And I would be damned if I ever let someone like her break me again.